I think what makes Brandeis is the community. So the fact that we have a space for this specific demographic of like cultural groups to come together strengthens those bonds between students, because otherwise it's just like really difficult to navigate this campus without having that specific type of support.
Brandeis is a PWI. You walk around campus, you go into classes, and unfortunately you don't always see people that look like you. When I come into the ICC and I see my friends that are part of SASA, part of FOCA, part of MOCA, and I'm like, oh, we're struggling, but we're struggling together, and we're pushing each other together. If they can do it, I can do it too, and together we're actually going to be a change. We're actually going to be what we want it to be in the future.
The ICC has like taught me what goes into being a student at Brandeis, especially a student of color. I just feel a lot of joy when I come in. Like, I know that like when I walk in, I'm gonna see someone that is going to be familiar and just like be like, hey, how are you doing? And ask about my day. Even like when I feel so heavy, I can always like look forward just like walking into the center and saying hi to someone.
I feel loved here. Like, even if you walk in through the front desk, like someone's always there to be like, oh my God, hi, how was your day? Like, how are you? It's just like you get that welcoming face as soon as you come in. I get to feel at home. I get to feel safe here. I get to see people that look like me, people that are successful, and it just gives you that like that extra push that you need at the end of the day, especially if you're feeling down. Like, even the colors of the walls, it kind of helps a bit.
It's so important to like have some physical space to like congregate and like create community. Even mentally, knowing that you have people there for you is just what makes college so much easier. The ICC like kind of provides like that backbone for a lot of different communities on this campus.
For me, the ICC is like a home away from home. It's one of the few places on this campus where I can feel like I can be me and I can be with my friends. We can speak Spanish and not feel like people are looking at us, or it's a place where I can feel safe.
It sounds cliche, but I feel like I've made like a lot of brothers and sisters here. Just finding like a new family, especially within SASA. I think the ICC is one of the main reasons, actually, I would tell people to come to Brandeis. If you feel like you need to find a place, which I think a lot of people look for, just go to the ICC, like look at the culture clubs they have, go to like any general meetings or events, and you'll find your people.
Hey. Okay, so Rubaiya, why'd you choose Brandeis?
Well, my scholarship mainly, but since I'm from Long Island, I didn't want to go to a school that was too close from home, and Brandeis offered a lot of good financial aid, so that definitely helped. Obviously, I think like the academics were up to par with what I wanted, but it was a smaller school, which is kind of what I was looking for, just because I feel like big schools can be really intimidating, and I just wanted to find a school where I could find my place, which I think it took a while, but I think I did it. What about you?
Yeah, same reason. I'm also from New York, so like from Manhattan, my high school was super small, so it was like, 80 people of my graduating class, so it was like I knew I wasn't going to want to go to a really big school where I couldn't connect with people. So that was one, and also I didn't want to be close enough to home where I'm like, oh, I have to be home every day. So now I get to be independent on my own, and I can come back and forth whenever I need to. I think for me it was like the MLKs, everyone was doing humanities, so it was like me finding someone that was in STEM was kind of hard, and then I would go into class, and I was like, damn, no one looks like me. So when I went into Gen Chem and I sat down and I was like, oh, okay, I see Juan, I see like my friends. I was like, okay, we're all Latinx. And then they were like, oh, do you know BLSO? I was like, I have no clue. This is my second year, sophomore year. And I was like, I have no clue what that is. And they were like, oh yeah, it's one of the ICC clubs, like you should come. And then that's how I actually fully became friends with them. And I was like, damn, it took us this long to be friends when I could have had y'all since the very beginning, since freshman year. So
I feel the same way. I feel like I didn't really become involved with like ICC and SASA until last year, junior year, because I was home all of sophomore year because of COVID. Yeah. And freshman year, I was so shy. Like, it was really painful. I didn't make any friends until the second week of school because my roommate made me leave my room. She was like, please come meet everyone. And I'm like, I don't want to. But I ended up living with like a lot of e-board now, and like going to events is always so nice. Because like I don't know what it's like from in like Manhattan, the area that you're from, but like on Long Island, it is not super diverse. I was the only one in elementary school who was South Asian, or even like POC, and the number only went up to 4 by the time I got to high school. So the fact that I have like so many South Asian friends now is incredible.
For me, it was like kind of the opposite because I live in Washington Heights, so it's like the deep center of like Dominican Republic basically. So it was like I was always surrounded by people of color, especially like Hispanic people, and I loved it. But it's also like coming here, this whole PWI, and I was like, oh.
It's a little bit of a shock sometimes.
I was like, damn, so I'm not the majority this time. Now I'm really a minority here. And yeah, it kind of hurt seeing it a little bit, especially like walking into class. And I was like, damn, until now, not a single professor looks like me. And I was like, it hurts sometimes, but then it's like, well, I can come to the ICC. And I was like, okay, cool. Now I see everyone is POC in here, and it feels so nice.
You feel like you found kind of like a family here?
Yeah, especially with like the people from BLSO. Like I'm living with them now, and I see them every single day. We're all struggling together. If we go to the library or whatever, we're like, oh yeah, it's time to. Oh, I see what you're working on. Rubaiya, how has the ICC hooked you out?
So I remember coming here freshman year. I think it was probably late into fall semester because again I didn't really do anything. I was like so shy. But I came here and I think it was a Sikh event, and I'm saying that because there was Thai iced tea. And I just remember having a lot of fun and like seeing a lot of people that I haven't seen on campus, and just the fact that everyone was so nice kind of was the first step into me learning that people aren't scary, and that like it is possible to find community within like even other cultural groups. And then I went home for COVID, and that was a really long year, and then I came back. But while I was at home, I applied to be like an ICC office assistant because I was like, oh, I really like the ICC that one time that I went. I'd like to be there more often. It would be really cool if I could just like, you know, get to know the space better and like the community better. So obviously I got the job, and now I'm here for 2 years, and it's just been really nice. Like even my other like coworkers, getting to know them, and like just learning not even culture, like who they are, just like who they are as people. I think like what I'm trying to say is a big part of the ICC to me is just learning how to be a person, and learning how to find community and friendship and like family with other people. I definitely wouldn't be the person I am today without like especially Sasa. Like I feel like I've been adopted, but in a good way, not patronizing. It's hard to be the eldest daughter. I don't know if okay, great. So having like this physical space where people can come together from these like similar, not necessarily the same, but similar backgrounds, where you can just like talk about struggles at home or things like that. It just, I think solidarities are a really important part of being a college student, because for a lot of us it's our first time away from home, so juggling, you know, school and like learning how to be an adult is really hard. So the fact that we have this space to like create community has just kind of what's one way that you think the ICC has helped you grow in terms of like the professional stuff, because we've been talking about kind of like undergrad.
I feel like because I'm part of an ICC club, it forces me to be more outgoing, like more, let me reach out to you, let me ask for help, and that's something that I don't naturally do. So I feel like,
it's hard.
It's so hard to put myself out there, but because I am co-treasurer, I have to talk to student union, I have to talk to treasury, and unfortunately, it's like, sometimes it's like, I don't like those interactions, but because I'm part of that, I have to be, and I feel like the ICC kind of gave me a backbone.
Yeah, no,
it definitely did, yeah.
Right.
And it's like, it also helped me be a lot more organized. Like I was saying, Google Calendar me, right now, we're best of, everything is color-coded. Like, I'll have my classes one color, ICC meetings, like club meetings, whenever there's a cultural event, like everything is there. So yeah, I feel like if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't be planning my life the way I am now.
Like, my first year at Brandeis, I was still in that same mindset of, like, what I was like in high school, where, like, I'm a brown person, but I don't really interact with my culture as much, and I never really saw that changing. But once, like, I came to the ICC and had more of, like, the comfortable, diverse interactions within SASA after, like, they had put in the work to be more inclusive, I felt like I could interact with my background more and, like, appreciate who I was more and navigate through Brandeis still with the same amount of comfortability, but more so with knowing who I am, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get it. But, like, for me, it was opposite because I came from predominantly Latinx background. Like, where I lived, wherever I went, I was hearing Spanish all over me. And even my high school, there was one white person, and that was it. So coming here, it was like, oh, I'm the minority, like, for real, for real. At the end of the day, it was like I came to the ICC, and I see people that look like me, not necessarily from the same background, because BLSO, it was very, like, Mexican-centered. And I felt like because I'm Ecuadorian, there was other students who didn't fully feel represented in BLSO, but our e-board has been working so hard to actually change that. And I feel like we've been making improvements. But now, like, if I walk around campus, I don't feel as shy or as scared, like, as sheltered as I would before. Like, I feel like the ICC has helped me feel more comfortable in who I am as a person, but also just, like, walking around the way I carry myself. And I don't think I would have done that, like, without the friends that I've had here, like, without the experiences that I was able to get here.
I also think, like, the ICC, I don't know if it's the same for you, but, like, I think it's made the campus bigger for me because it's helped me expand just, like, who I know, even, like, whether or not they're part of, like, a cultural group.
Yeah.
Just because I'll be walking around campus and, like, I've talked to them before because, like, I've met them, like, in general meetings or events. And, like, it just helps me feel more connected to the campus.
Yeah.
Right? And, like, I just feel like I know more about what's going on because when you have, like, so many people come together, you can just talk to them and they'll be like, oh, like, I'm part of, like, this other club. Let me just tell you about it, which is really nice because I feel like before that I didn't really know anything about Brandeis.
Yeah, no, like, freshman year, I remember I would be walking around through campus. I wouldn't say hi to anyone because I didn't know anyone. But now if I walk around, I'm like, oh, hi, I know this person part of Pottery Club. Oh, hey, you're part of the PAD organization. Like, there's people everywhere, and it's really nice that you can get to say hi. Like, they're not even part of culture clubs, but because they've come to the ICC or they've come to our shows or events, you get to meet them, you have that interaction. Now, like, now I can walk around and I can see a familiar face. Even, so if I'm having a bad day, I can be like, oh, hey. And even that one-on-one conversation, like, it's enough to help ease the rest of the day.
If the ICC just wasn't on campus or if I never showed up, I think my friend group would be very different and I wouldn't have grown as much as I have. Without, like, being comfortable with that, I feel like I wouldn't be able to just carry myself.
I think if I wasn't part of the ICC or if I wasn't, like, exposed to it, there was no way I was going to be as involved as I am now. Like, the person that I am now is because of it. Like, it's made me confident enough that I can speak up and actually, like, voice my opinion. And I don't think I would have been able to do that if it wasn't for me being part of an ICC, like, club. I want to come back and serve the ICC because they've helped me so much.